Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's Zainab, the creativity enthusiast of Sisters Bead. So as you can see from that dress and my beautiful self, that was 3 years back. So a customer actually ordered the same thing when I uploaded it on my status, that he wants the same thing for his mom for Eid al-Fitr celebration. But as we can all know that it's kind of impossible to get the exact fabric, the exact kind of atampa, or is it Ankara that some of us call it now, because it's 3 years ago and we all know there is new styling, new trend every day. So we got this, which is actually something similar to that, and we have done the sewing, and now it's time for the beading. We are beading around the neck area, just exactly as the first image that you guys have seen. So a very big shout out to Hajia Kubra. Thank you very much for all your support, for all your care. This video is specially dedicated to you. So as you can see, this is how we took out all the pattern out around the bust area and around the sleeves area. These are the beads that we are going to be making use of. We have the orange, the yellow, the green, black, and glass color. Do you call it glass color or watercolor? Let me know in the comment section, but I call it whatever I feel like calling it. So those are the beads that we are going to be making use of. They are crystal beads of size 6. The original crystal beads, not the plastic or is it rubber. No, we are not using the rubber one, we are using the original crystal beads. So this is the dress, and I just can't wait for you guys to see how beautiful the whole beading and stoning will look like, because we are doing 2 embellishment on this dress. We are doing the stoning and we are doing the beading. So in case you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please kindly do so. Hit on the notification bell, like, share, comment. And if you have not seen a quick tour of the small but mighty Sisters Bead, be sure to check the video out. We have a video of the quick tour of how the Sisters Bead Kaduna Center looks like. So without further talking, let's start. So advisably, I always tell my students to always, if you're doing something like this, this is called a clustered beadwork. If you're doing something like this in such a way that you have to mix colors or you have to mix beads together, the first thing that you should do is to bring all your beads together, cut them all out from the official line, mix them all, and before you start anything, that's just the most advisable thing that you should do. You shouldn't like pick some certain colors, or should I say some certain amount, and do the mixing first, because it might not be sufficient for you at the end of the day. So it's better when you mix everything together, so that you won't have an issue whereby a particular color overpower another color. So for this dress, we are making use of 3 strands of yellow color, 3 strands of orange color, 3 strands of green color, and just a strand of the glass or watercolor, anyone you call it, and a strand of the black. So the reason why I decide to go with a single strand of the black and the glass color is because I don't want the glass and the black color to be too shouty or to be too like pronounced on the whole thing, because the colors are already going on. So I decide to just go on with the colors. Even the colors that we are using, I'm using the lighter version of the one that is on the Ankara, just to make it look kind of more beautiful, I think. So that's my own little advice for anyone that is doing something like this. Just make sure that a particular set of colors, you just give a hint of it and not a much volume of it. So if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, this is the best time to do so. Hit on the notification bell, like, share, comment, I think I'll continue to say this till I finish this video. The video is a bit long, I know, but I just cannot make it so minimal like that. I just feel maybe people will not understand it, but let me see your reaction, then it will determine how I will do my next videos. So I am done unstranding everything, so I just mix all my colors together, and this is where the real work begins. This is where the fun starts. So we are going on with our needle of size 8. We have them available at Sisters Bed, and you can also check the market to see if you can get something like this. It's a very tiny needle. You have to be very, very careful when working with it. And if you know you have any atom of eye issue, please wear your glasses before starting. And don't work at night, please. So fetch some amount of your thread. This is just a normal thread that the tailors use, so you don't have to like panic about the kind of thread I'm using. It's just normal thread that we all know. So I'm just making 2 fold of it so that my beads can be more comfortable around it. When you are done making 2 fold of it, you are passing the 2 ends inside your needle. Please, the 2 ends, not a single one. So when you pass the 2 ends, you end up with 4 strands of thread, which is what we need. Yes, it will form like 4 like this. Please, this is what we need to do our beading. We need our thread to be a little bit thick, and then we tie our knots 3 times. Make sure that the second one you're doing goes on top of the first one, just like the way I'm doing. And if you're going for the 3rd time, make sure that it's on top of the first, second one. Don't have your knots separately. That's a very bad practice. Make sure that they are all on top of each other. So when you're done doing so, I'm just picking my tape now to measure the width of the beadwork that I am doing. I don't want it to be too wide, so I'm just going with 3 inches. 3 inches of the width. So this is what I need. This is what I need. So I'm going on with my chalk to mark so that it will be very easy for me to work with, and I won't have any zigzag look of my beading. So advisably, please always have a white chalk, which will help you in marking around when beading. Or you can go with some crayons that I've seen around, something that will not be permanent on the dress shirt. You see, this chalk can fade easily, so that's why I'm using the chalk. So first thing first, you pass your needle at the edge, almost at the edge of the neck. Yes, can you see the knot that I did 3 times showing itself? That's how I want it. Then I'm picking my beads randomly. I'm not selecting any color, like I'm not being selfish with any color. I'm just picking them randomly. Then I will just pass my needle again, but I will just take not up to 0.1 inch. I think that will explain. 0.05, just a very tiny amount, because this clustered beadwork are going to be very tight, very, very close to each other. So I'm just taking them at random, just like I've said earlier, and the way I'm sewing them randomly as well. One might be looking up front, one will be looking back, one will be looking like left, right, something like that. I'm not doing assembly like maybe straight line. No, no. The only time I will go straight is when I reach the marker area. That's where I draw my chalk. So I'm not going to bypass that chalk. So that's my stopping point. So this is how you just be sewing them and be checking behind the dress to make sure that there's no thread showing below. I know this can be a little bit hard, but I assure you it's one of the best way to make sure that your beading looks very neat and it looks so magical. Some people will be wondering like, how did you bead without the thread showing below? So this is the little secret. When you're beading, normally when they sew the Ankara or any fabric or the dress rather, there's always the main fabric and there's also a lining. So when you are lucky to have a dress that has a lining with the main fabric, just make sure that when you are fashioning with your needle or you are passing your needle, it shouldn't reach the lining area. It should just be above. It should only fetch the fabric, the Ankara, the lace, or whatever kind of fabric you are going with. So when you do something like this, you'll notice that your beading comes out very neat, very clear. Like people will be wondering how you even achieve something like this. So that's just my little secret, and I'm giving you guys for free. So beading is going so far so good. This is one of those beading that consumes time. I have to be very honest with you. If you're doing this for yourself, like just spare out like 3 days just to work on it bit by bit, so that you don't end up getting so tired or you just feel like this thing is not going, is not moving fast or something like that. The dress it took me, I think, almost 10 hours to finish this dress, but the result always comes out perfectly. If you know you cannot just spare out like 10 hours of your day to do this, I would just advise you to go in with 3 days with 3 hours every day. That's definitely you will achieve something like this with much ease than doing it in a single day. And make sure that you pull your thread very well so that it can be a bit tight and not too loose, so that it won't like be looking very saggy like that. Maybe I will start adding, should I start adding music to my videos? I don't know. I feel it's becoming a bit quiet, but I'll think about it, yeah? Or you let me know if there's a particular kind of music that you like to be listening to, then I'll add it. So can you see when I reached the marker area, that's where my chalk is. I stopped there and I took a turn to continue like randomly within the 3 inches that I marked. All the items that I'm using, they are all available at Sisters Bead. In case you want the complete product, of course it's also available at Sisters Bead. Just send us a DM at Sisters Bead on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn. We are all there. and we'll be glad to render our service to you. Hajia Kubra, I just hope you put this into practice. I know it can be a little bit time consuming, but it's so beautiful. Can you see how far we have gone? Wow. It's taking shape. So when you are working, there's a situation whereby your thread will get exhausted. Remember I told you to fetch like 10 inches. So at this junction you might have, I have added thread I think more than 4 times. So I just want to show you quickly how to do so. So when you notice like your thread is like 3 inches long, then you form a knot. The knot should be very tight and it should be down at the fabric. When you form that knot like 3 times, then you pass your needle close to that knot, then you just cut the excess out. Make sure that you always spread your Ankara so that you don't have a very squeezed Ankara at the end of the day, or a squeezed work at the end of the day. So we are going to repeat almost the same thing we did at the beginning when we were starting. That's like fetching our thread, folding it into 2, bringing the 2 ends together, passing it into the needle. Then we tie our knots 2 to 3 times, then we continue. So that's what I'm trying to do now. You bring your 2 ends together, and then you pass them into your tiny needle. Please, if you know you have an atom of eye issue, wear your glasses before you start. Some people end up like tearing up when passing this thread into the needle. I understand the needle is quite tiny, but that's the only perfect thing that you can work with. So we are forming our knots, and always make sure that the second knot is always on top of the first one. Then you cut the excess out. And then you just place it anywhere. It mustn't be at that marker area that I placed it. You can decide to place it at the center, at the beginning, anywhere. Then you just continue your beading. So just in case you find yourself in a situation whereby you need to add a thread, you have exhausted your thread, this is what you do. So this is how we continue till we reach the end, and then we start our stone work. So I'm making use of my soda iron, which is my perfect tool for stoning. It has always been my perfect tool for stoning. I love this soda iron. You just plug it, turn it on, then you just place your beads. Ensure that it takes at least 10 to 15 seconds before you move to the next one. In that way, the gum behind, or is it at the bottom of the stone, must have melted before you continue. Please always ensure that you have given your stones that privilege, the gums at the bottom of the stones, to melt before you continue. Please always ensure that. So there's a little bit space from one stone to another. That's how it is on the dress, and this is how the bust area is looking like. Wow. This dress is perfectly embellished, like perfectly. What else does this dress need again? Stones is there, beads is there, so it's blessed already. Can you see how I'm leaving it? I have to leave it there for at least 10 to 15 seconds before I take it out. And ta-da! We are done. We are done. I know you guys can do it. So can you see how tight they are, how close to each other they are? And look at the sleeve area. I took my time to make sure that I did for each and every pattern for both the left and the right sleeve. Just look at how perfect everything is looking. So please, I would love to see your recreations too. Please, if you do this, be sure to tag me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. I'm all there at Sisters Bead. Just tag me. Let me see your recreation. If you want to see how I make that jewelry as well, be sure to let me know. I'll do a video on that as well. So if you have not subscribed to the YouTube channel, please kindly do so. Hit on the notification bell, like, share, comment, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.